Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Luke Andersen Radio Show. Visiting me today, I've got Isaac and Zook with me. We are talking about the Seahawks. I am on record as being a huge Seahawks fan, and I feel like there's going to be a couple years here where they have a chance to knock off a couple Super Bowls. I feel like you guys may not be the hometown supporters I am.
Well, he hates Seattle, so
I don't want to put words into your mouth, so I'd like to hear
Please
from you
don't.
guys. I don't believe
Soup
in
does it all the time.
Yeah, some
I
people.
don't hate
it's not my
Seattle.
fault that you hate Seattle.
See, he's
and
being
Seahawk fan.
He's being an idiot,
Sure.
but that's normal. We've come to expect that.
It can happen.
There is a segment of Seahawks fans that are insanely sensitive,
Sure.
and I've called them out on it. I don't understand why they have to be, but that's just is what it is. Actually, really like Pete Carroll.
Yep.
I really like Russell Wilson. And how on earth do you not respect what they just did to the best offensive team in the NFL?
Absolutely, and I think a lot of people don't give the NFL enough credit for having multiple champions. In every decade, there's been multiple Super Bowl winners. In the 2000s, the Steelers won 2 in 5 years. The Patriots obviously won 3. In the 90s, the Broncos and the 49ers, Cowboys all had a little run there. Giants won 2 in 6 years. The Redskins won 3. I mean, I think it sets up pretty well for a young team to come in and really hold their own for a little while.
Seattle's going to be good,
Yeah.
and they're not going away, although the salary cap situation, not necessarily this year or the year after that, they're going to have to make some tough decisions because Wilson's got to get paid, Sherman's got to get paid, some of these guys, but they're going to be good. I just look at how much goes into winning a Super Bowl.
Sure.
I mean, to be honest with you, San Francisco was probably a better team than they were in that game, but a player or two goes the other way. There's a lot of luck, health.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I would just say that they're going to be in the conversation, but to say a team's going to win multiple Super Bowls, I always stop short of that just because I know how hard it is to win one.
Oh, I just look at it, and you have a team like San Francisco. They, one play from the Super Bowl, and now they're in all this turmoil. Seattle's had a great offseason. They let a couple guys go that, probably were hard decisions. Red Bryant's been there a long time, but he had a, big cap hit, so they let him go. Sidney Rice, they cut him. They got a lot of room, I think, to do some things.
But that's kind of the depth thing. I mean,
Sure.
McDonald, Bryant, if Bennett leaves, and we always talk about Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman, but Seattle won because they had the deepest team in the NFL, and they were put together. You start losing guys like that, then maybe McDonald and Bryant don't jump off the page at you as like world beaters. They're not the Isaac Ropp of your team, but sometimes guys like that, those little glue guys, you get enough of them, that's the difference maker.
I think that's the key point is you're talking about. See, I think it's a good point. You brought up all these different multiple Super Bowl champions in different decades, but what made them multiple Super Bowl champions? And does Seattle resemble what made them multiple Super Bowl champions?
Well, to Zook's point, that's the Pete Carroll philosophy is competition at every position. And the other thing is they're coming out of the NFC, which is clearly the better division right now. They get to play San Francisco twice a year. They get to play Arizona twice a year. These are up-and-coming teams. The hotter the fire, the stronger the steel. You come out of the better conference, out of a strong division, it only makes you that much better in big games. They've played more meaningful games in the last 2 years than a lot of teams have.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos, for sure.
I don't know if there's truth to that, but at the same time, I think when you get into the playoffs, you're getting the best of everybody.
Sure.
But big game experience matters. I just think with Seattle, we're overrating them a tad only because they played their last game. On the biggest stage was just the most amazing performance you'll ever see from a football team. Does that mean they're multiple Super Bowl good? I don't know, man. They damn near lost to San Francisco. They, 2 more inches on that pass, and they're not even in the game, and we're talking about them like the Niners and not this multiple Super Bowl champion. So I think sometimes we get ahead of ourselves with that.
You can say the same thing about the 49ers when they started their run in the 80s. You take away the catch. The Cowboys go in. They had won a lot of Super Bowls in there.
There you go.
I say I did not think of when you started rattling off multiple champions, because I always, in my head, I always have that, boy, it's just so hard and not many teams do it. But and not that one team per decade is a lot, but
sure.
It's a valid point. I had not really thought about how many teams have actually done it, and you do get kind of one of those mini runs about every 10 years. Maybe it is Seattle. They're set up to succeed.
To your point, yeah. It's like the Giants won the first one,
yep.
and we didn't see another one coming. We were like, oh, hey, look at that. That's cute. The Giants won one. And lo and behold, there they go. They get another one.
Yeah, you get the opportunity, and you get in there. And what I wanted as a Seahawks fan was I wanted good weather. So after the game, if they won by 40 points, nobody could say, well, it's because of the weather. All right, we're going to kick it back to Jason Swigart right now, and thank you. Keep listening.
There you go. Well done, Luke. Hang on there for a minute, Luke. Let's hear some thoughts from our judges. We'll start with Brandon Sprague.
Yeah, it was tough for me because you kind of from the get-go address yourself as a Seahawks fan. That entire segment, I probably would have turned it off because you pretty much sounded extremely biased. I love the talent that Seattle has, and I understand where you're coming from. But if they play that game in San Francisco, they might not even get to the Super Bowl. You talk about how it's a harder division. The AFC West actually sent 3 teams to the playoffs. The NFC West, only the 2. So there's some flaws in your argument, but when you address that you're a homer and you're a fan and your whole argument is dynasty, my favorite team's going to have a dynasty, I kind of tune that out because I need you to be a little more realistic with yourself and with me.
Okay.
And from Jeff Austin.
You know, I thought you had a great start, and you started with your own opinion, and you had more opinions of your own than the other contestants did in this round. That can be a really good thing. There were a couple times in the give and take with Isaac and Suk I would have liked to have had you maybe interject a question and maybe pin them on an opinion that they had to have a little more of the hard give and take. But I got the feeling all the way through, man, you were just chomping at the bit to get your opinion out there. That's really good. But you've got to also remember the question part of it when you're on with other people. Nail them with a question once in a while, too. And your formatics were strong. Good toss back to Swag.
Thanks.
And from your coach, Isaac.
Yeah, well, I like your personality. I think you're funny. I didn't see enough of that there. Sports talk, But I'd hope that if you get this your show, it's more Luke, because I think you're more dynamic than the Seattle sports segment. And I 100% agree with Sprague that Homer radio is easy radio. It's a dime a dozen. You hear it all the time with Blazer guys and certainly Seahawks guys up in Seattle. And so but you are who you are. I mean, you can't change that. But I would tone that down a notch because I'm with Sprague that I just, that's just so common.
And before we get out of here tonight, there will be 2 finalists who will then be heard throughout next week, in and out of shows, doing various things on the station, getting that radio studio experience. Do you think you're going to be one of those guys?
I hope so, yeah, absolutely.
Well, you got 4 minutes, Luke, to make your final case to our judges. The floor is yours.
All right, so I read this morning that the Final Four is anticipating making $700 million in ad revenue. The Final Four, not the tournament, the Final Four. That is too much money not to pay these players. That is an absolute bananas number. If I can watch the games, guess the winners, and win $1 billion, maybe we throw a little bit of that revenue towards these players. And the NBA is giving them an out. I realize Mark Cuban, very persuasive argument, that if they'd rather go to the D-League and have no one watch them for 2 years, they can make it into the NBA. Through that avenue, they can do the Brandon Jennings move and go to Europe for a year, make some money and do that. But let's be honest. There's these written rules that nobody follows in college sports. You have a huge advantage if you're Duke over University of Portland. You've got a better facilities. You've got better coaching. You've got a little bit more of everything. We need to bite the bullet and go, hey, let's give them a chunk of this enormous pie that we all have. And the worst offender is college football. I was thinking about it today of how the Premier League is so brazen to put a logo right on the front of their jersey. Guess what? If you make a bowl game, Buffalo Wild Wing just sponsored your team. They put the logo on there immediately. Johnny Manziel getting in trouble for signing autographs, possibly being paid. He just put the biggest Chick-fil-A ad up ever. And he didn't have a choice. That's the bowl they got into. He may not even believe in homophobic chicken sandwiches, but he has no choice. He's got a most valuable player trophy with the Chick-fil-A logo on the side of it. That's his forever. It happens all the time. You look at college sports, and they don't even give you an opportunity to make money. The wrestler from Minnesota, he had to give up his availability because he had a music career. He went out and made inspirational music, made no money on it, but was taken away his eligibility because he was using his likeness to promote something that he created. Jeremy Bloom played for Colorado, couldn't go out and get sponsors as a skier because there was a possibility that would ruin his ineligibility. So he's going after an Olympic dream and going after a football dream. You can't have two dreams in this country. Let's just take all the rules, let them do whatever they want. If Texas wants to pay all of their players, and they pay way more than Portland State does, it's Yankees Pirates. The Yankees pay more money than everybody. They publish their totals, and now you have a team that hasn't won a World Series in how many years? There's no guarantee of victory. Every year it looks like Alabama is the runaway favorite. They haven't won it in 2 years. I mean, you can't. There's no way to guarantee success. Money's not going to do it. Just give these kids something to play for. Make it important. You watch an Oregon football game, it's like a 3-hour promo for Nike with a couple Cialis commercials in the middle. That's all it is. They're making money hand over fist. Just stop pretending that you're doing something different. It's exactly what it looks like. There's some people being paid. We just don't know who they are paid with or who they're paid from and who they're being paid by. But the university is working on it. Manziel is going to be able to gain funds from the defamation lawsuit that he has. For when people go out and sell his likeness, he can sue them and collect those funds. They've found a way to get around it. They're going to continue to find ways to get around it. They've been doing it since sports started. People will cheat. Whatever rules you write will be rewritten in a secret little society of all these guys that just want to collect the billions of dollars these guys are making for you.
Well done, Luke. Your final statement to our judges. Let's see what they think. We'll start with Jeff Austin.
Wow, that was good versus evil, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not even necessarily on your side in this argument. I'm more of a stipend guy, but you know, you made a great point about the exploitation of the athlete, of the collegiate athlete. You went really deep. You cited several examples, which I liked. You even went to Jeremy Bloom, who a lot of people will remember. He was really one of the first guys we started thinking about in that way. You know, a great start. You sounded very comfortable. You sounded very confident. All in all, I enjoyed the full 4 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get a word, if we can, from Brandon Sprague real quickly.
Yeah, you know, I felt like I was kind of a D-bag to you the last time that you went. I didn't mean to, but I'm actually...
Everyone in the room thought that. So.
I really enjoyed what you just did because that was who you are. That's what your show would be about. It's something that you care a lot about. It's your personality coming out. Your solution was extreme, obviously, but we're kind of getting to a point now with what's happening in college athletics. Maybe the extreme is the right way to go. Either way, whether I agreed or not, you had me captivated, you kept me listening, and you showed who you were as a personality, and that's what I want from a radio host.
Well, thank you.
Well done.
Thank
Judges enjoyed that. How'd your coach, Isaac, enjoy that?
Okay. Luke is the best guy in this competition, in my opinion. You did not change my opinion there. You have more depth than anyone else. You also did your homework. In other words, the reason I say that, I think a year from now, if you get a show, a year from now, I think you can be really good. We need to bring out more of your personality. We need to coach you. But you show the intangibles that are hard to teach. That's what I like about you. I've thought about that. I've thought that about you from the beginning. Nothing has changed. I would have liked to have seen you really hammer, just blow everyone away there, but that's all right. I mean, you're inexperienced, but you're my favorite. I think you're the odds-on favorite in this competition. I think it's you and one other guy I expect to see there next week, and it's going to be close. So you still need to keep on your game, but you're my favorite. So,
well, thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate that.
And Luke, now that you've been through this whole 2 months worth, what do you take away from this?
You know, I mean, honestly, I started this competition thinking it's something that I could see myself doing, but every week you guys have thrown some challenges at us that, I mean, zero preparation time. I'm sitting there waiting for the wheel to spin. I go, Belichick's still on the wheel. I'm going to have to interview him. You have maybe Popovich, and I get Saban, and you have no time to think of it, and it's challenged me in ways that I didn't expect, and I hopefully have risen to the challenge, and it's been just a ton of fun. I want to thank my brother who actually talked me into trying out, and he tried out too and made me look really good. So I really appreciate it.
Well done. Good luck. You are done for the evening. So